Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Talking City podcast. I'm Tyrone Marshall in the host chair today, joined by my esteemed colleague Simon Bajkowski. Before we get started into the meat of another good City win, a word for our sponsors, NordVPN. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com. Talking City. That link will give you 4 extra months on their 2-year plan, and there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Simon, you weren't with us last week. You're on holiday in Madrid because you've not been often enough recently. Did you use NordVPN to tune into the derby while you were in Madrid?
I didn't know. I was on a scouting trip at the Bernabeu.
Should we do that again when you say, yes, I did, for the sponsors? I think you missed the...
No, I'm sick of these things where everyone talks about how much they use the sponsors. I have used NordVPN, and it was very good. I won't talk about why I used it.
There's a lot of thoughts going through people's
There are a lot. Yeah,
now.
I thought that, as I was saying. It's actually a very mundane reason. It just doesn't reflect well on sort of the organizer of this podcast, I suppose. But it's happy to talk about NordVPN. But on this occasion, I did not. You know, sometimes a break from football and Manchester City is
off the treadmill.
Is good, I find. And 2 weeks of the international break weren't enough for me.
No, you look refreshed. That's it. Yeah. Got 2 weeks off, but I'm also going to take the derby.
Yeah. Didn't manage to get my hair cut in that time, but
there was a lot going on. Yeah. A lot going on with 2 kids, isn't there? Can't do things for yourself. But you were back at the Etihad alongside me last night, and we witnessed another City win. A deserved win. I don't know, it felt like a bit of a non-event in the end, didn't it? I mean, I said to you after that red card, I feel like this has ruined the game now. And you said, yeah, because the first 20 minutes were electrifying, which was a fair enough point. But I mean, it didn't quite ruin the game in the end because City turned in a pretty good performance against 10 men, didn't they? A
good performance and 2 wins in a row, which kind of breaks a cycle of, winning one and then not being very good. And also, it's hard because the red card did kind of ruin it. Di Lorenzo being sent off was about half an hour in.
20 minutes.
20 minutes in. But at the same time, City kind of did create the situation in which he was sent off. Yeah. It doesn't feel like that good a win, but Napoli did come as Italian champions. Like, on paper, they're the best team City have beaten since they beat Inter in the Champions League final 2 years ago. Because, not just last season, but the season before when they won the 4th Premier League title in a row, they just didn't beat any good teams. They kind of drew against them and lost a few, and they lost that feeling of beating excellent teams. And maybe Napoli are going to do rubbish this season. We're going to look back and say, oh, well, they weren't that good a team anyway. But I think for the time being, they have to be treated as, a very, very good team on paper. And the fact that it was so much of a non-event, I think kind of gives credit to City.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you say, it was a clear red card. It was a great ball from Foden, great strength from Haaland, great refereeing from Haaland, who was absolutely adamant it was a red card and was correct that it was a red card, which you should say.
Yeah.
And then the substitution. I mean, I turned to you and Jack when Jack Gaughan from the Daily Mail when the substitute was getting ready and said, who do you reckon's going off? And I thought De Bruyne might go off, but you were both so adamant it was Haaland. I thought, well, I'm not going to say De Bruyne then because obviously I'm wrong here. And then he came off, and I said I thought that might happen, but yeah, I didn't vocalise it, but in my head I did think that might happen. But
it was funny because I turned to you after about 15 minutes, and I thought about saying, I think Napoli are going to get a man sent off and City will win 2-0, maybe Haaland and Doku. It was a sad end for De Bruyne, sacrifice for the team. He played one very nice ball, didn't he? Cross field.
He did. It was a lovely pass.
But it was more Haaland had kind of been struggling with injury and looked certainly hadn't got any change out of Diaz in the start. But yeah, poor Kev. But he still got applause, didn't he?
He got the applause, but he'd have been fuming, wouldn't he? Because I think he'd have seen that as his chance to say like walk off, having engineered a Napoli win and gone have some of that, Hugo.
Yeah, I think the most relieved man in the stadium was Hugo Llana to be like, right, okay, I can relax now.
Yeah.
Because Because he has started well at Napoli, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he has started pretty well. And like you say, they've won 3 out of 3 in the league, and they won at Fiorentina at the weekend, which is clearly a decent result. So yeah, a good win. And they showed a lot of patience, didn't they? That was the one thing Guardiola was talking about post-match, how happy he was that they showed a lot of patience. They did the right things against 10 men, because it can become very formulaic, can't it, against 10 men, that the space is out wide, you get it out wide and you cross it. There was a couple of moments in the first half where attacks ended with one with Kusanov and then one with Diaz crossing in quick succession. And at that moment, I thought, this is not what they want long term. But they did show the right patience and they carved them open pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I would say minutes 20 to 40 were not great. Minutes 40 to 55, they really kind of stepped it up. And then Haaland gets the goal kind of then, and it's job done. And that is what they've been missing. It's what they lacked so much last season, but also like the 2-0 defeat to Spurs, they never looked like scoring, did they? They never looked like getting back into it. And I know they had a man advantage against Napoli, but it is still, Antonio Conte has a phenomenal record against Pep and is well known for setting up his teams brilliantly and defensively. And you know, they created the scenario first to get the man sent off, and then they took advantage of that. And again, I think, you know, well done City, because it's not something that they have been fully used to. We're not fully used to seeing that over the last 12 months.
No. And I think I made the point to a colleague as we were walking out that I'm not sure City win that game last season necessarily, and certainly not in the autumn.
No. Well, certainly not, no. But yeah, just as we saw at Tottenham at Brighton, like still when things go against them, they're not able to turn things round. And that is why I think Donnarumma could be so important, because he's just, I mean, we've not spoken on the podcast about it, have we? But he sort of did the pre-match press conference and was so impressive and so confident and like humble, but also just like he spoke with authority, he spoke with calmness, and every City player we've spoken to has been really positive about the fact that he's in goal behind him. I think Rodri said it in the derby, like it felt like United had to put it in the top corner if they wanted to score, because he's massive. But like he made a save in the first half that was pretty routine. It was pretty scruffy, just kind of like pushed it out from
the header. Yeah,
and not to do Ederson down or whatever, but like those kind of balls did go in last season, especially in the Champions League. And if that goes in, then a good start is undone and City have it all to do again. And you're sort of like, oh, here we go again. It's just kind of doing as much as possible to avoid those setbacks. I think Donnarumma will be more important than, you know, I think more of the focus is on his kicking at the minute, and fair enough. But I think those kind of small saves as much as the big saves will help out. The derby as well, you know, saving from Mbeumo, who knows if that goes in and whatnot.
I mean, Ederson doesn't save that, does he?
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Maybe, I think someone said maybe he saves it but parries it back into play. But the fact is that Donnarumma did, and they've got Donnarumma now, and those kind of like little marginal gains will be vital to City kind of getting their confidence back, because everyone speaks kind of psychologically about Rodri, how good it is to have Rodri in the middle and how you just feel better with Rodri in the team. And I think they will feel that with Donnarumma behind them, which can only help them.
Yeah, he's a big personality, isn't he? And City have got a big personality and a big bloke at either end of the pitch at the moment, which is kind of
the bookends.
Yeah, there. I mean, there is something to be said about those kind of almost two key players, aren't they, at either end of the pitch? And Haaland has been excellent this season. I mean, you lose count now of the number of press conferences we've done where we're basically saying to Pep, what more can you say about him? That's another record. Like, what's he going to achieve? But it is like 50 goals in 49. The previous record was 62 games by Van Nistelrooy. Like, he's beaten this record by 13 games.
Yeah.
And I think he's 90 off the Champions League record for which Ronaldo's got, which Pep said last night he thinks he's going to break. It was. We'll come on to Foden's assist in a minute and Foden's role in a minute, but it was a clever finish from Haaland. and he looks on it this season.
He looks on it. Yeah, the comparison I made was kind of like the Haaland of the FA Cup final when he gives up that penalty to Marmoush. Yeah. Like, he just looks like a man on a mission. And he spoke a lot at the end of the season and over the summer of like, I need to be better. Like, he scored 31 goals last season, but didn't perform to his normal high standards. And certainly, I think a good number of his 31 were sort of early in the season when he looked amazing, and then it fell off. And he has admitted that he needs to improve, and he's only 25, just turned 25 in July. So he knows he has to get better, and it seems, with this leadership role, he's really taking it on. And whether he is, I imagine he has consciously listened to sort of criticism of his team play. His team play seems to be better than it was. But fundamentally, you just go back to his goal score, and it's like 5 games in and he's got 6 goals. It's like, if he scores a goal a game for the whole season, then City are laughing. Yeah.
And it feels like, it's starting to feel like putting him in that leadership group is stroke of genius from Guardiola, isn't it? Because it feels like it's brought more out of his personality. He looks kind of more authoritarian on the pitch at the moment. He did that interview when it came out on Wednesday with Viaplay in Norway, where he was quite critical, wasn't he? He said, we've got to be better than this. We've got to get our asses in gear.
Yeah.
And that's the type of thing that from some players is a criticism of teammates. But he was talking collectively, and then sure enough, next game, he's the one that goes and makes the difference.
City have always had that dressing room, haven't they, where they're like, we're all adults. We can all take it. Say whatever you got to say, and we will take it and we will listen to it. But it also needs that sort of feeling of no one's too fragile or precious to get hurt by that criticism. And the people that are saying it have got to be saying it from a point of, I know I have to do this as well. It's not like I'm great and you're all rubbish. But yeah, and it was interesting. Sort of Pep's basically said the reason he put Haaland into the captaincy group is like as soon as he signed his 9.5-year deal. And that is kind of rewarding commitment, but also kind of like, well, you're here and you're going to be here. So you have to, you've said, oh, I want to be a great part of this. Right, well, be it. And kind of admitted that he put him into the leadership group, like, not because he saw him as a great captain, but because he was like, well, you have to become a great captain now because you're going to be here. So do it. So it is learning on the job. He's never been shy in coming forward anyway, but it's a different kind of role. But he seems to be enjoying it.
Yeah, he does.
And also, sorry, just like a quick word for his Snapchat channel, because he's really fun. Yeah, it's very, very fun on there. And even last night, he was like filming himself as he got in his ice bath and answering questions after it and stuff like that. And he's just like, he's quite a funny individual.
Well, he seems quite down to earth person, doesn't he? And this is what I mean. He's clearly got a lot of personality, and I think we're maybe seeing more of it on the pitch now with this leadership role. Donnarumma spoke really well on Wednesday about their friendship and what a brilliant person basically Haaland was.
Yeah.
And like I say, you do kind of see that with his social media stuff and
even
character there.
Yeah, like I would point as well to like when like he was asked like in summer who he was missing most on tour, and he was like Jack Grealish, and he's like continued to give Grealish amazing support through his move to Everton. And like, if you wanted to be mischievous, that we never are. But like, you could say like, it's not particularly like, you shouldn't be doing that, just focus on City. And like, same with being so critical of the team, like, oh, just focus on the positives or whatever. But he kind of does what he wants because he's as big as he is and as big a brand as he is. But like, I think it is really beneficial both for him and for City.
Yeah, it comes from a good place,
yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the most important thing. And let's get on to the creator of that goal then, because it has been a big week for Phil Foden. It feels like, touch wood, he is back. Guardiola spoke very well about him last night, about how much they've missed him, but also, he said, which has kind of been a theme this week, Foden touched on it on Sunday. Doku in the mix zone on Sunday even said, like, we know Phil is affected by criticism. Guardiola said last night that he's very sensitive. and kind of said that, the embrace of the teammates in the club have helped get him back on track. And he looks, it was noticeable. He started on the right last night, and then second half he was in the through the middle. It was a brilliant assist, and that's why I kind of came to the possibility that City wouldn't have won that game last season. Because Foden wasn't doing that last season. And against the deep defence, you need a moment of magic like that from Foden, or something that Doku can do, dribbling past 4 players. And Foden providing that, he looks on it at the moment, doesn't he?
Yeah, like I had a think last night, and I'm not sure I could name another player in the City squad who could pull off that assist.
No, I don't.
Which is like, there are so many talented players in that City squad. Like maybe Reinders, but like that.
The featherness,
to Liam Neeson, the particular set of skills needed to do that is like you say, something that they missed last season because Foden wasn't on it. But to go back to Haaland, I thought he was really good on Sunday. They did the post match after the derby, and Haaland said Manchester City had been waiting for this performance from him. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, they have, and like I wasn't. Foden can only see what he sees, and his perception is perception. But coming out and saying all I see is negatives, and it's like, that's really unfortunate if all he sees is if everything he sees is negative, because I don't think there has been that much about him. But this season, like, he obviously looked really good at the Club World Cup, didn't he? And then there was a knock that ruled him out of the pre-season game. And then he wasn't fit for the first game of the season. Then he was fit for 15 minutes off the bench against Spurs, and then he was missing again completely against Brighton. And it's like, everyone at City wants Foden to do well, but it can't be stop-start. He has to be in the team influencing games every 3 days, which is what he did when he won the PFA and the Premier League Best Player. And it's what he's done twice in 4 days now. He is a real difference maker, as you wrote.
Yes, today. Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is that he will always find those negatives, won't he? He could find them today, I'm sure, if he looked for them, and he's clearly affected by them. But he's the one player for me that can make this season different to last season. You mentioned Haaland before, and if he scores a goal a game, I think he got 22 in 34 in the league last season. Yeah, I made this point a few times on the podcast, but City only got 74 goals maybe in the league. Yeah, you add another 10 from Haaland to that, and I still don't think that's enough to win the league in this day and age. So they need someone else to step up, and the most likely player there, I think, is Foden. Yeah, and if Haaland does get another 10, and then you throw in and on it Foden, then suddenly you're looking at mid-90s goals at least, probably, and a feeling that anything is possible again all of a sudden.
Yeah, and also we made a lot of Haaland's body language and things like that. And with Foden, it just feels different on the pitch. It feels like he's wanting the ball again and wanting to be the man that makes the difference. Whereas last season, it just felt like at the beginning and the end, it felt like he was just kind of going through the motions. And I think back to that FA Cup final, and when Claudio Echeverri came off the bench instead of Grealish, he came on at the same time as Foden, and he was 10 times better than Foden because he was hungry and wanting the ball, and it felt like Foden had just stopped, fallen out of love with it a bit. But he looks back on it, and I like the hair as well.
Yeah, I think I wrote a copy yesterday. He looked kind of like, even in the cup final, like forlorn, didn't he, when he was coming on the pitch? And like you mentioned with Haaland, you see his personality on the pitch, and that's what you want with Foden. And that's when Foden's in a good place, that you're seeing that on the pitch.
Because also, I would say Foden and alongside Oscar Bob are probably City's kind of best pressers high up the pitch. Like, Foden will harass defenders and goalkeepers, and that sets the tone for the team. Like, when you see Foden doing that, it feels like City are active and City are involved. And then when he gets on the ball, he can do what, things that people can't do on the ball. But it's that work as well that makes you think, oh, right, City are, are trying to impose their game on the opposition and giving the opposition real problems on and off the ball, which, really does. It must help the team, but it also helps the crowd to see, right, yeah, they're really on it today.
Yeah. And just lastly then, on last night, a good week for Doku as well. 2 assists and a goal. He spoke in the week on international duty about looking at his stats this year and knowing he needs to improve that. I mean, it was a superb goal, wasn't it? It was a great individual goal. Quite similar in a way to his assist on Sunday, in that he's picked it up in a tight space and beaten a player and worked his way into the box, and a calm finish. When I did the podcast with Alex last week, we were laughing, saying, I think me and you recorded one at the start of the season, and I said I had a feeling this was going to be Doku's breakthrough season, where he kind of goes to world class level, which had looked a bit of a hot take. But if he can start adding goals and assists, there's no reason he can't be 10 goals, 10 assists in a league season for me. And last night was promising signs again, and that he took that goal brilliantly. Yeah,
I thought, other than the goal, he was exactly the same as last season, exactly as frustrating. He had a lot of the ball, he did nothing with it. He sort of was as frustratingly wasteful as he has been, but then he scored the goal and made the game safe. And
if you're doing that once a game,
correct,
you can get away with the odd frustrating moment.
Yeah. And everyone would love to see more rounded performances and more consistent performances and things like that. But even if you're not playing that great and consistently scoring or assisting, then you can stay in the team, basically. I think Pep went over to Linda's when he scored. So I don't know if there's been some work done there, but then also the big news that he got baptised at the weekend. So
first goal since baptism.
Thanks to God for the goal.
What a week. Yeah. What a week. Down in United by day, being baptised by night, and then getting on the score sheet against Napoli. A fantastic
praise be.
I would have loved to have been in the mix zone when he said, I knew it was going to be a good day because I'm now getting baptised tonight. What is the follow-up there?
I believe the follow-up was Erling Haaland's doing really well, isn't it?
A momentary silence, and then, so anyway, talk us through the goal. A difficult one to know what the next question is when he's talked about.
But, fantastic. We want footballers to open up and
absolutely.
And tell us these things. And, Doku seems to have a lot to say. He's done the YouTube series on himself, talking about his sort of working his way up and through various struggles with his performance levels and personal life. So it was a nice, not your average mix zone quotes, those.
No, definitely not. And that's what we want. We don't want average mix zone quotes. We want a bit of personality in there. Right, straight on to Arsenal then. Pep Guardiola said today he's taking his players hiking today, given the short turnaround. I think was a joke. He was absolutely not biting on any schedule questions. But City have played at 8 p.m. on a Thursday, and Arsenal did play at 5:45 p.m. on Tuesday.
Come back to us on Monday's podcast where he might have bitten.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see if he bites post-match on
if they don't lose,
Sunday.
He's biting.
Yeah. It is Arteta, Jova, set piece FC. It's what sort of game are we expecting? Probably not
horrible,
not a watchable one.
A horrible game. Not necessarily for. It'd be interesting. I'm really interested to see how much needle there is, because this has been the rivalry of the last 3 years, longer really, and like the boardroom tensions go 7-8 years, if not further, which are at the crux of it really. But on the pitch, it's been horrible. The September game here last year, which, if there's any Arsenal fans listening, they had the reverse Champions League situation, so it wasn't good for them. But it was so bad-tempered, wasn't it? And Trossard was sent off for booting the ball away, and that somehow turned into like the biggest miscarriage of justice since the Weatherfield one or something. And it was just like so angry. And Rodri got injured, and you get like the idiots online like celebrating that and things like that. And then and then Haaland at the end, stay humble. And then at the Emirates, it felt so nasty, which credit to Arsenal, because like they've been a soft touch for years. But it felt like, not to do them down, their cup final, like they were adamant that they were going to beat City.
Not to do them down, but well done on winning your cup final, lads.
and we won't talk about Arsenal and trophies, and put them in their place. And And they did, right down to like, Miles Lewis-Skelly, who was, achieved very little in the game, doing the Haaland celebration to mock him, and like nothing wrong with that. Like they so enjoyed taking City to the cleaners, and City are so rarely taken to the cleaners, but they absolutely loved it. But will they have that again? Have they got the motivation to do it to them again, or was that kind of all of the outpouring of like revenge that they could take? So I'm going to be interested to see what it's like for City, sort of atmosphere wise, on the pitch and in the stands.
Yeah, and Guardiola's added to it a little bit with kind of a dig on Arsenal spending, I guess.
What's he said?
In his press conference, basically that Arsenal spent 250 million, but they're treated differently to us. Everyone's treated differently to us. He did say they want to spend 250 million. That's fine. I haven't got an issue with it. But when we spend it, we get criticised. And when Arsenal spend it and Liverpool spend it, they don't. Which I think has long been a bee in the bonnet of Guardiola and other people at City.
Yeah.
So not a surprise, I think, that he's making the point that he feels like Arsenal are treated differently. And in a way, I mean, I think Arsenal spending has gone massively under the radar this summer.
Yeah.
Partly because of what Liverpool have done.
Yeah.
But they have spent big. And I mean, I watched a bit of them on Tuesday, and I know they won that game in the end, but you watch them and you think, surely you should be better than this. Like, surely just a bit more watchable than this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, we've both mentioned another podcast that we listened to that made the point that kind of Arteta's almost stuck in the era of when he left City, which was kind of the 4 centre-backs era of Guardiola when they won the treble, and when Guardiola's kind of going through that phase. But Guardiola's adaptable, and it feels like Arteta's just like, it's all about the big men. Just keep signing me big men.
Yeah.
Sign me more and more big men, please.
It felt like City overtook them in the 22-23 season when Arteta had signed Jesus and Zinchenko from them, and much of the season was like, oh, Pep, why have you let them go to Arsenal? Why have you let them go? And City beat them, like you say, with those 4 centre-backs and big man up front. And Arteta thought, right, I need even more physicality to match that. I'm going to get a big, imposing centre-back. I'm going to get 4 centre-backs at the back. I'm going to get a big man in defensive midfield.
Big man in attacking midfield.
Yeah, I'm going to put Marino up front, and then it nearly worked for them again, but didn't still. And then it's kind of been like, right, we're missing the big number 9. We're missing the big number. And now they've got the big number 9. It's like, well, you can't really have any complaints about sort of anything. I mean, they brought Zubimendi in this summer, among others, as well as Gyökeres and things like that. So, it's not like they're all just big men who basically play rugby. But they still have that perception to fight, don't they? That they are just kind of a big team. And again, it kind of felt like they moved so far towards sort of being dangerous from set pieces that it almost became a bit more about like, right, let's kick for the corner and
play the territory and
rather than sort of creating in set play. But they have Zubimendi, they have Odegaard, who I think should be fit for the game, and they have a lot of talented players. Saka, Eze, I don't know if Saka will be fit, but they have loads of really talented players, and like you say, you want them to be kind of the sum of their parts.
I want more from them,
and it's more difficult for them to be the sum of their parts when they've spent a lot of money again.
I feel like I want more from them.
Arsenal almost had Arsenal fans also almost had a more difficult season than City fans last year, because City fans completely fell away, or City completely fell away. But Arsenal have been waiting for City to fall away, and then they finally fell away.
If you told Arsenal last year, like,
you'll finish above City,
you'll finish above City, they'd have been like, book me that parade.
Yeah. And then not only did Liverpool win the league, but Tottenham win the Europa League. Yeah. It's I'm not saying Tottenham had a better season than Arsenal or whatever, but like they
had a parade.
Yeah, they had a parade, and Arsenal, it was another season where there's only kind of, it starts to be through gritted teeth, doesn't it? when you're like, well, we did really well and we improved on last year, and look at our expected goals, and it's sort of like, you'd rather be talking about other things, wouldn't you? And I think, only one team can win the title, and when every team is spending hundreds of millions of pounds, it's very difficult because lots of teams that spend hundreds of millions of pounds will not win the title. But it's kind of time to, and to loop back to Napoli, it felt really important for City to start the Champions League with a win, because Pep made reference to last season they didn't, and it was against Inter. But just like City have won as much as they've won because they go into every game serious about winning it, and they will do it at Huddersfield on Wednesday just as they'll do it on Sunday at Arsenal and against Napoli. And you've got to, Arsenal haven't won anything in a long time under Arteta.
No, and they go into too many games, I think, looking not to lose. The Liverpool game earlier this season is a classic example. Probably a good time to play Liverpool. Yeah. And Arsenal had their moments in that game, but it didn't feel like they pressed to win it. And it felt like Liverpool probably did. And in the end, the team that tried to win it won it. And that's where I say I think Arsenal have got to be better. They've got to be more ambitious.
Yeah, and they part of the rancor from Arsenal was around when they came to the Etihad 2 seasons ago, 18 months ago, the goalless draw, where City were, off the top of my head, I think they had Stones, Walker, Ake and another defender out. I think 2 were out at the start and another 2 came off in the first half, and it was a goalless draw, and you're like, well, and then Rodri made some comments that were like, we knew they didn't want to kill us, and that's when we knew we could beat them, and caused a lot of upset at Arsenal, but it's true.
It was true. Yeah. It's almost like they can't read their moments of when to, like Liverpool at the start of this season when they've not been on it. Yeah. City then, they're the moments to say, like you say, go and kill them. Go and make a statement here. Yeah. And they can't get out of that mentality of like being hard-edged and physical, and a draw away at these teams is a good result.
Now, they absolutely killed City last season. It was 1-1 close to 60 minutes. Like City did really well to work themselves back into the game and then threw it away.
Pep said the last 15-20 minutes were disastrous.
Yeah, he was one of those rare occasions where he just tears into the players after the game in the press and like, we did not do what I told them to do, and it was really bad. But again, can Arsenal pick their moment this time, or can City surprise? And it would be a surprise, I think, if City went there and win, because they've not beaten Liverpool or Arsenal in the league since they won the treble. So it will be tough for them. Yeah, but Arsenal
will be favourites, won't they? I think it's fair to say.
I think Arsenal will be favourites. But I think the mood at City has clearly shifted over the last week, because they've had 2 very good wins, and also what hasn't been spoken about loads, but I do think with the transfer window being over, certainly for us looking at it, there's clarity. And it just felt so, certainly at Brighton, it felt so confused.
Yeah.
So I think City will go there with a bit of a glint in their eye.
Well, I feel like this is the litmus test for where City are and what they're going to achieve this season. The City are back train was at the station again last night, but I was refusing to board. I've got on the wrong train too many times recently with Juventus and Wolves. So on this occasion, I'm going to wait for the next one at the platform, and I think we'll see on Sunday.
It's perfectly possible that they win on Sunday and finish third. But we're just looking at like what they're capable of.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you there.
I'll see you there.
On different trains. Looking forward to it. Right, thank you for listening to today's podcast. Please remember to leave us a review as long as it's positive. Give us a like and subscribe to get the latest podcasts in your feed. We will be back on Monday. Myself and Ty, I think. I should have checked the rotor before that, but be one of the 2 of us, or if it's not us, it'll be Alex. But 2 of the 3 of us will be here to dissect what has happened at the Emirates and to see how that litmus test for City has gone. For now, thanks for listening or watching, and we'll speak to you all early next week.